There's something truly magical about gardening. The smell of fresh soil, the gentle rustle of leaves in the breeze, and the satisfaction of watching tiny seeds transform into thriving plants. Gardening isn't just a hobby, it's a connection to nature, a source of nourishment, and a peaceful retreat from the stresses of daily life. It offers a sense of accomplishment, whether you're growing vegetables for the kitchen or cultivating a colorful bed of flowers that brightens your yard. But as we get older, certain aspects of gardening can become more challenging. The constant bending, lifting, and kneeling can take a toll on our joints, making what was once effortless now feel like a strain. The good news? You don't have to give up your love for gardening. With the right strategies, gardening can remain enjoyable and fulfilling without the unnecessary aches and pains. The key is to work smarter, not harder, using simple techniques to reduce strain while maximizing efficiency. By making a few adjustments, you can continue growing your favorite plants with ease, ensuring that every gardening session leaves you feeling energized instead of exhausted. In today's video, I'm sharing 16 clever gardening hacks designed specifically for seniors. These tips will help you make the most of your garden with less physical effort, more convenience, and maximum enjoyment. Whether you're looking to minimize bending, lighten your workload, or create a garden that practically takes care of itself, you're in the right place. From raised beds and ergonomic tools to time-saving watering methods and smart weeding tricks, these hacks will transform the way you garden, so you can spend more time enjoying your plants and less time worrying about the hard work. So if you love gardening but want to make it easier on your body, stick around. By the end of this video, you'll have a collection of simple, practical, and game-changing gardening tips that will make a world of difference. Let's jump in. Hacked. Raised garden beds. Keep it comfortable. Bending over to tend to plants can be one of the biggest challenges for senior gardeners. The strain on your knees, back, and joints can make even the simplest gardening tasks feel exhausting. That's where raised garden beds come in. They bring the garden up to you, reducing the need for bending and making planting, watering, and harvesting much easier. Raised beds can be built at waist height, eliminating the need to crouch down, and they also provide better drainage, which leads to healthier plants. If you prefer a more portable option, tabletop gardens allow you to grow flowers, herbs, and vegetables right at standing level, perfect for balconies or patios. You can buy pre-made raised beds or build your own using simple wooden frames, bricks, or even recycled materials. No matter the style, the goal is to bring the plants to a level that is comfortable for you so you can garden for longer without discomfort. Hack 2. Lightweight tools for easy handling. Traditional gardening tools can often be heavy and difficult to maneuver, especially for those with arthritis or limited hand strength. Investing in lightweight, ergonomic tools can make a world of difference. Look for tools with foam grip handles, which provide better comfort and reduce strain on your wrists. Extendable tools are also a great option, allowing you to reach plants without excessive bending or stretching. Another simple trick is to modify existing tools. Adding pipe insulation around the handle of a trowel or pruner can make gripping easier. If lifting is a challenge, opt for tools made from aluminum or plastic instead of heavier steel alternatives. These small changes allow you to garden comfortably without tiring out your hands and joints. Hack 3. Keep your tools handy with a garden mailbox. How many times have you started gardening only to realize you left your trowel or pruners in the shed? Constantly walking back and forth to retrieve tools is tiring and takes away from valuable gardening time. A simple yet effective solution is to install a small weatherproof mailbox right in your garden to store your most frequently used tools. This keeps everything within arm's reach, so you don't have to interrupt your work to search for missing supplies. If a mailbox isn't an option, you can also use a 5-gallon bucket with a tool organizer attached or hang a small caddy near your garden. The goal is to keep essential tools nearby so you can work more efficiently and enjoy your gardening time without unnecessary movement. Hack 4. Smart watering solutions. Watering is essential for a thriving garden, but dragging heavy hoses or carrying watering cans can be a strain on your arms and back. A drip irrigation system is a fantastic way to automate watering and ensure your plants receive the right amount of moisture with minimal effort. These systems slowly release water directly at the base of plants, reducing waste and preventing the need for daily watering. If a drip system isn't an option, self-grading planters are another great choice, especially for container gardening. You can also use recycled plastic bottles to create slow regredient watering systems. Simply poke small holes in a bottle, fill it with water, and bury it near the plant roots. This method provides a steady supply of moisture without the need for frequent watering. By adopting smart watering techniques, you save time and energy while ensuring your plants stay hydrated. Hack 5, mulch your way to less weeding. Weeding is one of the most tedious and physically demanding gardening tasks, but mulch can help eliminate much of the hard work. A thick layer of mulch, such as shredded leaves, straw, or wood chips, acts as a protective barrier, preventing weeds from sprouting while also helping the soil retain moisture. Not only does this reduce the time you spend weeding, but it also keeps your plants healthier by maintaining consistent soil temperature and reducing the need for frequent watering. To apply mulch effectively, spread a layer 2 to 3 inches thick around your plants, making sure to leave a little space around the stems to prevent rot. Organic mulches break down over time, improving soil quality naturally. With this simple trick, you can spend less time pulling weeds and more time enjoying your garden. Hack 6, vertical gardening, less bending, more growing. If bending down to tend to plants is becoming a challenge, why not bring the garden up instead? Vertical gardening is a fantastic way to maximize space while reducing strain on your back and knees. Trellises, wall mount planters, and hanging baskets allow you to grow everything from herbs to tomatoes without the need to bend over. Climbing plants like cucumbers, beans, and even strawberries thrive when grown vertically, making harvesting a breeze. If you have a sturdy fence, consider attaching planters to create a beautiful and accessible green wall. Vertical gardening is also a great solution for those with smaller yards, patios, or balconies, allowing you to enjoy a lush, productive garden without the physical strain. Hack 7, container gardening for accessibility. Traditional in-ground gardening often requires extensive digging, bending, and heavy lifting, tasks that can become difficult as we age. That's why container gardening is an excellent alternative for seniors who want a more accessible way to grow plants. Containers allow you to control soil quality, reduce weeds, and position plants at a comfortable height. Choose lightweight, easy-to-move containers made of plastic, resin, or fabric grow bags to make gardening more manageable. Using rolling plant caddies or elevated plant stands can also help move pots around without straining your back. Another bonus, containers can be placed near the house or on a patio, making it easier to tend to your plants without trekking across the yard. With the right setup, container gardening provides all the joys of growing without the hassle. Hack 8, no-dig garden for less effort. Digging and turning soil is one of the most physically demanding aspects of gardening, but it's not always necessary. No-dig gardening is a technique that builds healthy soil naturally while eliminating the need for backbreaking work. Instead of tilling, you layer compost, mulch, and organic matter directly on top of the soil, creating a nutrient-rich environment where plants thrive. This method reduces weed growth, retains moisture, and encourages beneficial soil organisms to do the hard work for you. Not only does it save time and effort, but it also helps maintain soil structure, preventing erosion and compaction. With no-dig gardening, you can grow lush, productive plants without ever picking up a shovel. Hack 9. Repurpose household items for gardening. Gardening doesn't have to be expensive or complicated. Sometimes the best tools and tricks are hiding right in your home. Repurposing household items for gardening is not only cost-cool, but also sustainable, reducing waste while making gardening easier. One of the simplest and most useful repurposing hacks is using coffee filters at the bottom of plant pots. When watering, soil often leaks out through drainage holes, making a mess and leading to unnecessary soil loss. By placing a coffee filter inside the pot before adding soil, you allow excess water to drain while keeping all the nutrients where they belong. Another great trick is reusing egg cartons for starting seeds. Each small compartment is the perfect size for sprouting seedlings, and since egg cartons are biodegradable, you can plant them directly into the soil when your seedlings are ready to be transplanted. If you want to take it a step further, used eggshells also make fantastic natural fertilizers. Simply crush them up and sprinkle them around your plants to provide a slow-release source of calcium, which strengthens plant cell walls and helps prevent blossom end rot in tomatoes and peppers. For those looking for a way to secure plants without damaging delicate stems, old pantyhose or stockings work wonders as plant ties. They are soft, stretchable, and won't cut into growing vines or branches, making them a better alternative to traditional garden ties. You can also use old spoons, forks, or popsicle sticks as plant markers. Simply write the plant name on them and stick them into the soil for easy identification. Watering your plants effectively can also be done with repurposed materials. If you have plastic water bottles, don't throw them away. Instead, poke a few small holes in the sides, fill them with water, and bury them next to your plants. This creates a slow watering system, keeping soil evenly moist for longer periods, perfect for hot summer days or when you're away for a few days. By getting creative and repurposing common household items, you not only save money, but also make gardening easier and more eco-friendly. Hack, turn a bucket into a portable garden seat. Gardening often requires long periods of standing, bending, or kneeling, which can put strain on your back and joints. To make things easier and more comfortable, consider using a simple 5-gallon bucket as a portable garden seat. Not only does it give you a place to sit while you tend to your plants, but it also serves as a convenient tool storage container. To set this up, find a sturdy plastic bucket and flip it upside down to use as a seat. If you want added comfort, attach a cushion or foam pad to the lid. This allows you to rest while planting, weeding, or harvesting without having to constantly stand up and sit down. Alternatively, you can purchase a garden seat with built-in compartments to hold tools, gloves, and seeds, keeping everything you need within arm's reach. If kneeling is more comfortable for you than sitting, a padded kneeling bench with handles can be an excellent alternative. These benches reduce pressure on your knees and make it easier to stand back up thanks to the sturdy side handles. Some even double as seats when flipped over, making them a versatile addition to your gardening routine. Another clever trick is attaching wheels to your bucket seat or using a rolling garden stool. This allows you to glide across garden beds without straining your back, making tasks like planting and harvesting much easier. Gardening should be enjoyable, not painful, and having the right seating solution can make all the difference. With this simple bucket hack, you can spend more time in the garden without unnecessary aches and discomfort. Hack 11, grow low-maintenance plants. As much as we love a vibrant and thriving garden, tending to high-maintenance plants can sometimes feel overwhelming. Choosing low-maintenance plants is a great way to enjoy gardening without spending hours on upkeep. Perennials, for example, are an excellent choice for seniors because they return year after year, eliminating the need for replanting. Some great options include lavender, hostas, daylilies, and coneflowers. These plants require minimal watering and can thrive in various climates with little attention. If you enjoy growing vegetables but don't want to deal with delicate plants that require constant care, opt for hardy vegetables like kale, Swiss chard, and radishes. These grow quickly and can withstand fluctuations in weather, making them easier to maintain. Herbs such as rosemary, thyme, and chives are also fantastic choices as they thrive in pots and require very little watering or pruning. Succulents and drought-resistant plants are another excellent option. If you live in a warm climate, sedum, agave, and yucca are virtually maintenance-free, requiring only occasional watering. Native plants are also a fantastic choice, as they are adapted to your region's natural conditions, meaning they require less water, fertilizer, and care. For those looking to reduce weeding, ground cover plants like creeping thyme or clover provide a natural weed barrier while adding beauty to your garden. These plants spread quickly and prevent weeds from taking over, significantly cutting down on the time you spend maintaining your garden. By choosing plants that naturally thrive with little effort, you can enjoy a lush and colorful garden without the stress of constant upkeep. Hack 12, reduce weeding with smart strategies. Weeding is one of the most dreaded gardening tasks. It's time-consuming, physically demanding, and never-ending. But with a few smart strategies, you can significantly reduce weeds while keeping your garden healthy. One of the most effective methods is using landscape fabric or layers of newspaper under your mulch. This blocks sunlight from reaching the soil, preventing weed seeds from sprouting. Simply lay down the fabric or newspaper before adding a thick layer of mulch, and you'll cut your weeding time in half. Another great tip is weeding right after a rainfall. When the soil is moist, weeds come out much easier with their entire root system, reducing the chance of regrowth. If you're dealing with stubborn weeds in dry soil, consider using a long-handled weeder tool to avoid unnecessary bending. Raised beds and container gardening can also help with weed control as they minimize exposed soil where weeds typically grow. By confining plants to designated spaces, you eliminate much of the area where weeds would otherwise take over. Spacing plants closer together is another clever way to outcompete weeds. When plants are densely packed, there's less room for weeds to establish themselves. Finally, consider using natural weed suppressants like vinegar or boiling water on pathways and cracks in patios. This eliminates weeds without harsh chemicals, making it safe for pets and the environment. By implementing these weed-reducing strategies, you can spend less time pulling weeds and more time enjoying your garden. Hack 13, social gardening, growing together. Gardening is often seen as a solitary activity, but it doesn't have to be. In fact, turning gardening into a social experience can enhance the joy, ease the workload, and create meaningful connections with others. Community gardening, gardening clubs, or even informal neighborhood garden sharing can transform gardening from an individual effort into a collective one. For seniors, staying socially connected is just as important as staying physically active, and gardening provides a wonderful way to engage with others while nurturing plants. One of the best ways to embrace social gardening is by joining a community garden. These shared spaces allow members to grow their own vegetables, fruits, and flowers in designated plots while interacting with fellow gardeners. Community gardens often provide shared tools, resources, and even scheduled work days, which can lighten the physical load while offering social interaction. If mobility is a challenge, many community gardens have raised beds and seating areas to make participation more accessible. For those who prefer to stay close to home, gardening with family or neighbors can be just as rewarding. Imagine organizing a small gardening group with friends where each person grows different types of crops and shares the harvest. This reduces individual labor and creates an opportunity to trade homegrown produce, flowers, and gardening tips. Grandchildren can also be wonderful gardening partners. Teaching them how to plant, water, and harvest can be an enriching bonding experience, introducing them to the joys of nature while giving seniors an opportunity to pass down knowledge. For those who enjoy conversation while gardening, technology offers ways to connect virtually. Gardening forums, Facebook groups, and online communities provide platforms where gardeners can share their progress, ask for advice, and connect with fellow enthusiasts. Virtual gardening clubs even host video meetups where members discuss gardening techniques, troubleshoot plant problems, and celebrate successes together. Social gardening combats loneliness, encourages teamwork, and makes gardening more enjoyable and manageable. Whether through a local community garden, a small circle of friends, or even an online network, gardening with others enriches both the garden and the soul. Hack 14. Use a kneeling bench for support. Kneeling for extended periods can be tough on the joints, but giving up gardening is not the solution. Instead, using a kneeling bench with built-in support handles can make gardening more comfortable and pain-free. These specialized benches provide a cushioned surface for kneeling while also offering sturdy handles to assist with standing back up, a game changer for anyone with arthritis, knee issues, or limited mobility. One of the greatest benefits of a kneeling bench is its versatility. Many models flip over to become a seat, allowing you to switch between kneeling and sitting effortlessly. This is especially helpful for tasks like pruning, planting, or harvesting, activities that require close contact with plants but shouldn't result in discomfort. Some kneeling benches even come with built-in tool pouches, keeping gloves, pruners, and trowels within easy reach. If purchasing a kneeling bench isn't an option, DIY alternatives work just as well. A firm cushion or foam pad can provide similar relief when kneeling, while a sturdy chair or overturned bucket can be used for sitting breaks. Some gardeners even repurpose yoga mats or gardening mats for extra padding while working on the ground. For those with more severe mobility limitations, elevated garden beds or container gardens are fantastic alternatives that eliminate the need for kneeling altogether. The key is finding a setup that allows you to garden without discomfort, ensuring that every moment spent outdoors remains enjoyable rather than painful. A kneeling bench is a simple but incredibly effective tool that allows seniors to keep gardening while reducing strain on their bodies. By making comfort a priority, you can extend your gardening years while keeping your body happy and pain-free. Hack 15, gardening for mindfulness and relaxation. Gardening isn't just about growing plants, it's also a powerful form of meditation, stress relief, and emotional healing. Studies have shown that spending time in nature reduces anxiety, boosts mood, and improves overall well-being. For seniors, gardening can be a therapeutic way to unwind, focus on the present moment, and find a sense of peace. One of the best ways to practice mindfulness in gardening is through sensory awareness, taking time to feel the texture of the soil, listen to birds chirping, and notice the scents of flowers or herbs creates a connection to nature that calms the mind. Mindful gardening encourages working slowly and intentionally, paying attention to each task rather than rushing through it. Whether it's pruning leaves, watering plants, or watching a butterfly land on a flower, these small moments provide a sense of fulfillment and tranquility. Another wonderful way to use gardening for relaxation is by creating a personal sanctuary. Consider planting fragrant herbs like lavender or rosemary, which not only smell wonderful but also have natural calming properties. Adding a small water fountain, wind chimes, or a comfortable garden bench can enhance the peacefulness of the space. A quiet corner of the garden can serve as a retreat, a place to relax with a cup of tea or a good book. For those dealing with stress or grief, gardening can be an act of healing. Tending to plants fosters a sense of purpose and encourages gentle movement, which can lift the spirits and improve mental clarity. Whether it's growing flowers that remind you of a loved one or planting a small meditation garden, gardening provides a therapeutic outlet for emotional well-being. By embracing gardening as a mindful practice, you turn it into a soothing ritual rather than just a chore. The benefits extend beyond the plants. It's about creating a space that nurtures both the garden and the soul. Acts 16, embrace imperfect gardening. Many people feel pressure to create a perfect garden, one with neatly trimmed edges, spotless flower beds, and flawless rows of vegetables. But in reality, gardening isn't about perfection. It's about enjoying the process. Accepting a little wildness in your garden not only reduces stress, but also supports biodiversity and a healthier ecosystem. One way to embrace imperfect gardening is by allowing some areas to grow naturally. Wildflowers, native plants, and even weeds like dandelions attract pollinators such as bees and butterflies, improving the overall health of your garden. Instead of meticulously pulling every stray weed, let some grow in designated areas to support local wildlife. Another way to reduce the pressure of perfection is by practicing low-maintenance gardening techniques. Using mulch to suppress weeds, planting perennials instead of annuals, and opting for hardy, resilient plants means less work and more enjoyment. Container gardening, raised beds, and vertical gardening also make plant care easier without the need for constant upkeep. Most importantly, focus on progress rather than perfection. Some plants may not thrive, some flowers may bloom later than expected, and some vegetables may grow in unusual shapes. But that's all part of the beauty of gardening. Every garden is unique, and its imperfections make it special. By embracing imperfect gardening, you give yourself the freedom to enjoy gardening without unnecessary stress. Gardening should bring joy, not frustration. Celebrate the journey, the unexpected surprises, and the simple pleasure of watching something grow. After all, nature doesn't strive for perfection, it simply thrives. Gardening is one of life's simplest yet most rewarding joys. It's not just about planting seeds and watching them grow. It's about the deep personal connection we create with the soil, the rhythm of the seasons, and the quiet moments spent in nature. Whether you've been gardening for decades or you're just discovering its magic, one thing is certain: gardening is for everyone at every stage of life. But as we grow older, the way we garden might need to change, and that's okay. What matters is finding new, smarter ways to keep gardening enjoyable, accessible, and fulfilling. The 16 hacks we explored aren't just about making gardening easier. They're about preserving the joy of gardening without unnecessary strain. Raised beds and vertical gardening bring the plants to you, making it easier to tend to them without bending or kneeling. Lightweight tools and portable seating ensure that gardening remains comfortable rather than exhausting. Repurposing household items makes gardening more creative and cost-effective, while mindful practices transform it into a peaceful retreat. Each of these techniques is designed to help you continue gardening in a way that fits your needs and lifestyle. Because no one should have to give up something they love just because their body asks for a little extra care. Think back to a time when gardening brought you the most happiness. Maybe it was the first time you tasted a homegrown tomato, still warm from the sun. Maybe it was the fragrance of blooming roses that reminded you of a childhood garden. Or maybe it was simply the quiet, meditative act of pulling weeds, letting your thoughts drift with the breeze. These moments are what make gardening special, and they don't have to stop, no matter your age. One of the most beautiful things about gardening is its ability to adapt to your life. Can't get down on your hands and knees? No problem. Raised beds, container gardening, and garden benches make it easy to work at a comfortable height. Tired of constant watering? Drip irrigation and self-watering planters take care of that for you. Weeding feels like too much? Mulching and ground covers help keep your garden tidy with minimal effort. For every challenge, there's a solution, and more importantly, a way to keep gardening fun and fulfilling. Gardening is more than just a hobby. It's a source of connection. Connection to nature, to the food you grow, to the people you share it with, and most importantly, to yourself. It reminds us to be patient, to celebrate small progress, and to find beauty in imperfection. Watching a seed sprout, a bud bloom, or a butterfly land on a flower is a reminder that life is always moving forward, growing in its own way at its own pace. There's also something profoundly therapeutic about gardening. Science has even proven that working with plants can reduce stress, lower blood pressure, and improve mood. But even without research, we instinctively know this. The feeling of digging your hands into the earth, feeling the warmth of the sun, and breathing in the fresh scent of plants is enough to melt away worries and bring a sense of calm. It's a practice in mindfulness, one that allows you to focus on the moment, leaving behind distractions and stress. And let's not forget the benefits gardening has for our physical health. It keeps us moving, keeps our joints flexible, and encourages light exercise. Even small movements like watering plants, pruning leaves, or planting seeds engage muscles and keep the body active. Best of all, it's exercise with a purpose. You're not just moving for the sake of movement. You're nurturing something, seeing the results of your effort in every leaf and flower that grows. Gardening also fosters connection with others, whether through a community garden, a gardening club, or simply sharing plants and produce with neighbors. It brings people together. There's a unique kind of joy in exchanging seeds, giving away extra tomatoes, or helping a friend plant their first garden. It's a language that doesn't need words, just shared experience, patience, and a love for growth. If you haven't already, consider making gardening a social activity. Join a local gardening group, invite your grandkids to plant flowers with you, or start a small herb garden with a friend. These simple moments create bonds that last a lifetime. And remember, gardening doesn't have to be perfect to be beautiful. The most stunning gardens aren't the ones with perfectly trimmed edges or flawless flower beds. They're the ones that reflect care, love, and personality. A few weeds here and there, that's just nature doing its thing. Plants that don't grow the way you expected, that's part of the learning process. A garden isn't meant to be a showcase. It's a living, breathing space, changing with the seasons, growing in its own way. Let go of perfection and embrace the beauty of an evolving, slightly wild, but deeply loved garden. So as you step into your garden tomorrow, take a moment to appreciate everything you've created. Whether it's a lush vegetable patch, a simple windowsill herb garden, or a few potted flowers on your porch, it's yours. You've nurtured it, tended to it, and watched it grow, and in return, it has nurtured you too. The relationship between gardener and garden is a special one, full of quiet joys, little victories, and lessons that only nature can teach. If you take away just one thing from this video, let it be this. Gardening is a lifelong journey, and there's always a way to keep going. Adjust, adapt, and make it work for you. Because the joy of watching something grow, of tending to a plant and seeing it flourish, is something too precious to give up. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Which of these hacks will you try first? Do you have a favorite gardening trick of your own? Let's keep this conversation going. Drop a comment below and share your thoughts. And if you found this video helpful, give it a like, share it with a fellow gardener, and subscribe for more tips to help you continue doing what you love. Happy gardening. Keep growing, keep thriving, and most importantly, keep enjoying every moment in your garden.